Hello, this is Deborah Yao with Black Education TV. Now, family, I'm going to be sharing a story with you that is horrendous. Horrendous. Okay, the article talks about a Florida man that shot at his mother after she asked him for rent and gas money. 20-year-old black fella. Okay. This story is horrendous to me because I feel like we as a people are slipping and slipping fast, especially as it relates to how we are raising our children. We are raising the next generation, and not everybody takes that job seriously. Not everyone does. Now, I do understand that we do have people that are handling their business with their children. Okay? There is no correction needed there if you are handling your business. The scripture tells us to deal with the sins among our people. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet in Zion, and show my people their transgressions. Let me tell you something. We don't have to point at this young person over here and say, here's the example to live by, or this young person and say, there's another good example. Overall, people know what they're supposed to do. This young man knows that he was wrong. So you think that by looking at another young man who's doing things right, that this is going to change the wickedness in his heart? No. What we've got to do is deal with the wickedness among our people head on. Okay, I'm going to read some of this article, or maybe all of it, because it's not that long, and then I'm going to get back to my commentary. But it says, a Tallahassee man has been charged with attempted homicide after police say he started shooting at his mother because she asked him for rent and gas money. Bisbee Holton, 20, was arrested for attempted homicide after police were called to a home in the 2900 block of Dion Road. Let me cut in real quick. I got something to say. I find it interesting that this young man who had a weapon, okay, he had a weapon and he tried to kill his mother. They were able to take him alive, in which that's fine. That is fine. It's amazing to me that those who pose no threat have no weapon and sometimes are doing nothing at all. Their lives are taken. I just thought that it was interesting to point that out. Okay, now, according to the arrest report, police rushed to the house on June 30th after the victim called them and said her 20-year-old son was shooting at her and was still in the house armed with the gun. As police made their way there, they were told that the son had punched a door and left the area. When officers arrived, they saw the victim standing in the driveway, pointing toward Mission Road, where Holton was walking toward officers. After detaining Holton, officers spoke with the victim. His mother told officers that she and Holton got into a heated argument after she asked him for money to help cover gas and rent since he has been living there. That's why young people need to shut the hell up. When your parents are talking to you, shut your mouth. Because you have no business getting into a heated argument with your parents. In a previous video of mine, when I was a child, or a teenager, I think I was 12 or maybe 13. Don't remember exactly, but I remember I just basically, my mom said something and I just said, just a little bit. Not even as loud as I did on the video here. I'm just doing that so you can see that I just kind of sighed a little bit. And my mom came charging at me like a locomotive. We were afraid to talk back, much less get into a heated argument. These young people today are off the chain. And this is why you see the judgment of Yah pouring down, because they're off the chain, family. Lawless, wicked, rotten to the core. Now, I'm going to continue reading the article. It says, at first, Holton went to the kitchen for a knife, but changed his mind and got a handgun from his bedroom. That's when he pointed the gun at his mother and fired 2 gunshots as she ran into her bedroom to call 911. The victim said that while she was on the phone with a dispatcher, Holton walked into his room, grabbed a suitcase, and started trying to pack. When the victim told him not to take her suitcase, he punched a door and left. According to court documents, Holton took both the gun and shell casings he fired when he left. Holton's mother told officers that she was scared for her life and had felt a bullet skim right past her cheek when he was shooting at her. Court documents note that police were unable to find the gun or any bullet casings from the incident, which was consistent with the victim's account. Based on the evidence, Holton was arrested for attempted murder. Holton declined to speak with officers on scene. He remains in jail as of Thursday on a $50,000 bond. Now, quite honestly, that bond would have been higher in this case. I've seen people who have done less who had a higher bond. When it comes to disrespect, just like Kamiyah Mobley's mom, I don't do disrespect. I cannot stand to see children disrespecting their parents. You see, because this generation is being raised so out of whack that they believe that they can say and do anything to anybody. This is what they believe because they have seen this stuff played out on television movies, children disrespecting parents on Disney Channel. It's crazy. And so for this young man to think that he doesn't have to contribute something, and he points a gun at his mother and actually pulls the trigger, he was going for a knife, which is far more personal. But the coward went and grabbed a gun. He went and grabbed a gun and fired 2 shots at his own mother. Now, let me tell you right now, that's the kind of young man that the judgment of Yah needs to come swooping down and snatch his behind up right now as we speak. And again, for all of you who sympathize with him and talk about he didn't know any better, it's the curses, and we as a people, we so downtrodden, and so many things are bothering us, and we just got so many problems. That's why he did it. He did it because he just, to all of our people who continue to make excuses, I see it all the time, family. I see it all the time. I see it in my comment section. People, our own people, attacking us because of things that we say, attacking others because of things that we say, because a lot of people are getting fed up with the garbage in the so-called black community. We're tired of looking the other way. Many of us have been victims of the mess in the black community. We've shared with you all before about how my husband was held at gunpoint in the city of Detroit by some black men. My sister, young black man, put a gun to her chest and robbed her. So many of my family and friends have experienced this type of thing at the hands of some no good Negro. And yet we want to sit back and keep making excuses while people have to bury their loved ones because some no good Negro decided that they were going to end their life. We had a family member who was accosted in his house, shot him in the head, set him in his chair, and set the house on fire. But yet you want me to look the other way. You want me to stop talking about these things because you say I'm looking down on black people. But yet I have all of these horror stories that I can share with you from my own family in the city of Detroit. Things that have happened to my family at the hands of other Negroes. Now, we can sit back and talk all day long about what other people are doing to us. But if we're doing it to each other, what's the point in talking? Now, many of you may have lived privileged black lives to where you've never experienced any such thing, but that is not my story. I grew up in the city of Detroit. I've seen some of the worst in crimes, things that have happened, horrendous living conditions. I've seen it all. I've lived it. I've been a part of it. We lived in the projects. We lived in places that were infested with rats. Little children afraid to go to the bathroom when we were living in the city of Detroit on the east side. So for the people, I've had several people, especially recently, I've had people tell me that I don't know what it's like to be black and I don't know what it's like to suffer and go through this, that, and the other, as if you've lived out my whole life and you choose to attack me on my channel because you don't know what my past is, so therefore you assume that I don't know what it's like to struggle as a black person. I don't know what any of that is like, and so you use that as your point of attack. See, that's the problem with our people. Instead of trying to get ourselves in line and in order, we are always making excuses for rebels and attacking those who decided to change their lives, clean up their lives, speak the truth, teach the truth, come against evil, come against wicked. No type of cohesion among our people. But I bet there are many people that are going to make excuses for this young man, especially among the so-called Hebrew Israelites. Many of them can't stand black women, can't stand their own mothers. You hear them say these things. And so many of them may even ask, well, what did she do to cause this? Why is he acting this way? It must have been something she did to him. Instead of people accepting the blame for their actions. This man is 20 years old. He's no child. He knows right from wrong. You see, I am tired of the excuses among our people. I am tired of them because I see too many people that are hurt by this kind of nonsense. Too many of our people that are destroyed at the hands of another so-called black person because we all look the other way. And we all say, leave them alone, leave them alone. Stop putting people down. How the hell is it putting somebody down because you're talking about this mess? Family, this story rubbed me the wrong way because when a young man who is able to work decides that he'd rather kill his mother than to help out, his mind is gone. He is a reprobate. That's another good example of the scripture that says, turn such a one over to the devil for the destruction of the flesh that the soul might be saved. You pointed a gun at your mother. You just put in motion the wheels of judgment. So look for it, young man. It's coming. You already put it in motion. Your life from this day forward is going to be one of those where you have to look over your shoulder for the justice and judgment of Yah that's going to pursue you until you are destroyed, because that is uncalled for. I even hear people making excuses for being a certain way because they say, well, my parents did this and my parents did that. That still gives you no right to disrespect them. I would rather not have anything to do with them than to disrespect them, because that is what the word says. But when you establish your own righteousness, you think that, oh, she made me mad, so I'm going to shoot at her. You one wicked demon, and you will get what you've got coming. Okay, family. I know that may have sounded more than just me reporting on a case such as this. This was more like me showing my disgust for this type of behavior. Very disgusted at this type of behavior, because it's starting to happen way too often among our people, among our young people. They are so disrespectful with this sense of entitlement, as if parents owe them a free ride for the rest of their lives. There's nothing wrong with the young man being there, but there's a whole lot wrong when he doesn't feel he has to help. That's where the problem comes in. When you don't feel like you have to lift a hand and help or offer any money to help, there's a serious problem. Okay, family, I'm out.